welcome to Atheist Open Mic. For as expected, I sent out invitations to different atheist groups to see if any of them would want to participate. Since they seem to be very active online, I will be hoping they will be active on live here. But unfortunately, I did not get any response, any replies from any atheists, online atheists, to participate on Atheist Open Mic. And again, that I created last year to allow atheists or anyone who claims to be an atheist to come on and speak his or her mind, ask questions, voice any concerns or any ideas or anything that's on their mind regarding atheism, theism, religion, philosophy, science, whatever it may be, or even just to go on and just share a joke or whatnot. It's just a little forum to minimize the discussions that often take place on different forums, namely by I really don't understand why that claim to be atheists online love to use these typing forums or hide behind them when you could talk on these new avenues of community. Granted, I remember when AOL was the whole big thing, there were the forums and the chat rooms where you type in and people respond to you and whatnot. And then eventually, but some people were shy about it, and it wasn't really that accessible in regards to connecting with one another. Then Yahoo Messenger came, and Google, and all these different apps that exist now make web. People are scared to go on web, and they're a little bit shy and whatnot. And now that's where you don't really need a camera to talk or whatever and respond and interact with other people. And yet, these so-called to type behind these forums, which is why it makes me very skeptical of being atheist, because if you go to defend atheism or present your atheistic views behind a forum, a typing forum, and you obviously now video forum, a live real-time forum when in real life or on the phone, and you're not able to do that, but you somehow find the strength and the power to do it behind white boxes. That makes me skeptical, because if you are really an atheist and you're able to express your atheistic ideas and beliefs anywhere, it does not necessarily have to be behind a Google Plus community, a Facebook group, a Twitter tweet, or whatnot. But I was grateful for the other guy. His name escapes me right now, who joined me in August, and we had a night. And again, I ended up obviously because I wanted people to see that this Atheist Open Mic is fight each other, to battle, or not to curse each other. That's not what I'm intending. I started by using this forum. What I wanted is just discussion, and just like you just hanging out with somebody in the park and just having a discussion: religion, God, atheism, science, philosophy, whatever's on your mind, from each other, and either side, either party, the opposite side. So since nobody came, nobody requested, so I go check my email to see if anybody messaged they wanted to participate. I know I program because the whole the joy of love exhortation that came out yesterday I should say, again, which has been controversial in some circles in the Catholic Church, namely from so-called traditionalists, of people who pre-Vatican II customs and ways of doing things, and they seem to have issue with some things in the exhortation. Reading it, studying it, in people's different points of view on it. And right now, I have the post there ready to be published. Just and whatnot. Pretty much detailing, giving a summary of the exhortation, what's it all about, what it says. The media, as usual, has gone with the whole exhortation, and it's claiming that the Pope made some changes and whatnot in regards to giving communion to the divorced and an endorsement of same-sex marriage and whatnot. But of course, that's not the case at all. The Pope never endorsed either of those. We cannot compare heterosexual marriage to a man and a woman, or commonly known as traditional marriage, to so-called same-sex marriage or marriage between two males, two females, or whatnot. And in regards to communion for the divorce, I really do not like church actually, because Holy Communion is not only the body and blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ under the appearance, it's also united with the church, that we're one with the church. Communion with union. And receive communion, you're making that statement. Not only are you receiving Christ, but you're also making 100% Catholic. I'm with the church. I'm with the Pope. I accept teachings. And to give communion to people that are pro-abortion or divorced, obviously, divorced and remarried, I should say, meaning they got married in the church and they divorced civilly, because you cannot divorce in the Catholic Church. You see, the sacrament of marriage is forever until the partners die, pass away. Of course, you will get an annulment, but certain criteria that has to be fulfilled. That the intention was not there. Somebody was coerced to be married, and so there's a whole bunch of things there. A canon lawyer could better explain to you in that. So they divorce civilly while being married sacramentally in the church, and then remarry. That's the key. They remarry, obviously in the church, because they still are married civilly, but they can go married civilly in their jurisdiction, wherever they are. That's when it becomes problematic, and the person cannot receive communion because the person is living in sin, in mortal sin. It's adultery. You married somebody already. You can't just walk out of it and go with somebody else, and that doesn't work that way. The two shall become one flesh. If the two things become one flesh, you can't just, you tear it apart, you kill it, pretty much. So that's why the church cannot just give communion to divorced and remarried. And they have been trying to get around this one. You see, the idea of mercy, we have to be merciful. Yeah, to the people, not, but we also have to be in line with the teachings of Christ. Scripture says that God hates divorce, and we cannot just try to accommodate sin. What we do, mercy, that's not what mercy. We read in the gospel last Sunday, the Mercy Sunday, where God speaks of His mercy. We have to turn away from sin, and again, pretty much not to repeat what we have. But this woman was about to be stoned. Jesus' people that he who is without sin cast the first stone. And of course, everybody has sinned, so nobody can cast the first stone. Only Jesus can cast the stone. He obviously refused to because he had mercy towards the woman, and he told the woman, "I forgive you. It's, you did what you did. You came, you were asking for forgiveness, and I forgive you. I give you mercy, and nobody else here is going to condemn you because problems, their own issues, and they have no right to stone you. But do it again, and that's the part that we have in church and people that they were civil. We have to tell them. Obviously, something happened. You don't get along with the person, or something happened. We're not. The church cannot annul it, so don't go and try to remarry civilly. And we cannot go around communion because by not giving communion, and that's not true. You're still part of the church. Doesn't mean that it's just a situation. It's complicated. So I had the whole exhortation thing, and I wasn't able to start the Atheist Open Mic. So what I decided to do today is, or this morning, depending what time zone you're in, is do some things that I received. Obviously, I get a lot of messages. I would love to respond to every tweet, every Facebook message, every email, but social media message, I should say. I would love to write, but life gets in the way, things get in the way, and hours in a day, and hours I have to eat, sleep, and use the bathroom, read, gym, and then blog posts. Plus record for the radio, and I'm doing, which I'm actually am. Okay, I think I having technical difficulties, but I think I'm back on. Uh, India's open. what I was saying before I was ruled by Google Hangouts was that to some messages that I received from different social media. So now with hopefully I won't get disconnected. Technology usually doesn't agree with us to some messages that I received and whatnot, and what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get Google to share the screen that I'm viewing right now so that you can see what I'm looking at. So hopefully it works fine. If I can figure this out a bit. Just give me a moment. And I think I'm able to present the screen right now. I have here different mentions that I received from different places on Google Plus. And usually this is the community that I usually post a lot in. Well, the one that has a person in charge of it is not really it's atheist discussion, and unfortunately the whole thing is run by trolls. We have people like this guy right here with the Smurf character, Gary Cameron. Obviously it's a cartoon only in the avatar sense, also personality wise. We have many of them that they come on to these communities, and since nobody's really moderating them, whatnot, they have free reign and they post all kinds of silly things and discussion forum to disparage black others and whatnot. And a lot of theists in the community, they stopped posting or they left altogether because who likes to be in that environment where you try to have a nice discussion, you try to share your ideas, your beliefs, your opinions, and instead you're met with nonsense, with ridicule and whatnot, and it stifles the whole discussion. Can you imagine Stephen Hawkins and Richard Dawkins and Michio Kaku or Lawrence Krauss, and they're all having a discussion about physics or something, or Planet Nine, which was Lawrence makes a comment about his disability. Would you respect those men? I mean, even though they have PhDs and are academic and whatnot, would you have any respect for them? Or would you? No, it's just insulting each other like the Three Stooges or whatnot. Most likely, you probably feel the way they comport themselves and whatnot. So, it is where these trolls take over. People tend to leave them and don't participate, or they stay in them and they become dormant because they don't want to deal with the childish personalities. I, for one, like to toy around with them and get them aggravated, just for the heck of it. But this guy Gary Cameron, he posts, "Religion is useful to keep the," and posts about human sacrifice and whatnot. And obviously, it shows that atheistic communism has done this, not religion. Cuba is an example. And it's true. If we look at history, those nations that had communism, and well, of course, atheists. They were atheists. They did not believe in God, and they forced atheism on the people. This is what Stalin did, Mao, Saddam, and a host of others, Pol Pot, etc. Fidel Castro and whatnot. They all the people. And the first people they went after were priests were killed or arrested, whatnot. Well, these dictators, they killed millions upon millions of people just to keep everybody under control, under in check. And what was fueling all of that was, of course, the atheistic, communistic beliefs. It wasn't them per se. They woke up one day and said, let me kill 100, 200 million people. What drove them to get to that point was the quest for power in order to push the ideas of communism. This guy that religion is used to keep the poor in line. It's just nonsense. And if you think about it, even from a contemporary point of view, we have religious institutions posting, not posting, but they have soup kitchens and places where they feed the hungry, give clothes and so forth to the people, have social workers to help back on their feet and whatnot. And without these groups, many cities will fall apart. They will be inundated with poor, with homeless all over the place. So, without these religious organizations, not just Catholic, but from other denominations as well, will run these services to care and keeping these people alive and trying to get them back on their feet. So, how can you say that the church or religion keeps people in line, poor people in line, or not, whatever it is that he said? Keep the poor people in line. These religious organizations try to put power, get them out of power, get them on their feet, so they won't have to suffer anymore. So obviously, this guy is not very well educated. Then again, these people they love to read atheistic narratives found online, and because of that, they don't follow through with actually researching what they're saying. If you took the time to research, learn about communism and the evils that the communistic regimes that were fueled by atheism did, you will not say such a ridiculous thing. Now here's another post he posted on the 7th. And it says, proof the universe does not need a God to exist. And I addressed this in my book, Stupid. I wanted to try to explain the physics and the math behind it, and also some philosophy. So I'm trying to put all these complex things, try to make it simple, but at least keep it tangible to the average person that may not have studied these things. And hopefully I was successful. I think I was, because a lot of people emailed me thanking me for the book, said they learned a lot, and some great experiences discussing with atheists, and have even converted a couple of them. And I'm glad to hear that my book was able to help people evangelize to atheists and help them get to the point to faith and believe. So anyhow, Gary again said, I need a God exists. Again, nowhere in science does it say this. No respectable physicist will say this. Obviously, some people like Lawrence Krauss and whatnot would make comments like this, but he will get shut down by other physicists, because once you say a comment like that, like the universe doesn't need a God or whatnot, objectivity that a scientist needs in order to do science. Because in order for you to do science, you have to be objective. Because if you impose your ideas, your beliefs on science, then it ceases to be science. It becomes your opinion. It becomes work, so to speak. Something that it's not science anymore. Because science works on testing things and letting the evidence speak for itself. That's what science is. It's not you imposing on the research, on the experiments and whatnot. That's called experimental bias. And when the person does it, it's experimenter bias, because the experimenter, the one doing the experiment, is imposing his or her bias on the research. And you don't want that in science. Once you do that in science, that's the end of science. It's dead, it's gone, it's over. So this guy, Gary Cameron, is saying that the universe doesn't need a God to exist. Again, nowhere in physics and cosmology, It say that. You will not find it in the book. You will not open up a cosmology book or physics book or astrophysics book and find a chapter that says the universe does not need a God. You will never find that at all. It's not part of science. Science just does not teach that. And like I said before, you will find some physicists who will make stupid statements like that, but they have a difficult time backing it up. And again, that's just their opinion, his or her opinion. And you question them on it, you pretty much shut them down. And you don't even need a physics degree to shut down somebody with a PhD that the universe is not. You don't even need a God. You don't even need a PhD degree or even a master's or even knowledge in physics to be able to touch a person. Just because as it stands, we really do not know, scientifically speaking, what actually triggered the universe. We just know that the Big Bang happened and so forth. We don't know what happened 20 before that, or what we call 2080 seconds, because obviously time began to exist at that point. So before that, we really don't not know what happened. And for somebody to say that the universe does not need a God, then that means you know what caused the universe. For you to be able to rule out God, that means that you know what caused the universe. So you're able to say confidently that it wasn't God. Just like if, how can I put it? Let's say there's a car, a Kia Soul, right? And there's a married couple, Mike and Jill, whatever. And the car was left on, or the headlights were left on. And somebody says, well, it wasn't Mike that left the lights on. Mike didn't leave the lights on, or he didn't leave the Kia Soul on overnight. Then if this person knows this, then that means that the person actually saw what happened and knows that it wasn't Mike and that it was actually Jill that did it. Because for him or her to say this, then they obviously have knowledge of who left the lights on or who left the car on. So the same thing with statements like this. If you say that the universe does not need a God, and I don't know what caused the universe, so tell us and show it to us. How do you know what caused the universe? Because obviously cosmologists are trying to figure it out. What do you know that they don't? Because they don't know what happened. They're trying to figure it out. That's why they have the Hadron Collider in Switzerland, smashing particles, trying to figure out those moments at the Big Bang or before the Big Bang. And today they haven't really discovered anything. If anything, they discover contradictions in the way we understand the standard and whatnot, based on the particles that we're observing as they collide particles and break them apart. So Gary, if you know that the universe does not need God to exist, then that means you know what caused the universe to exist. So please tell us. Claim your Nobel Peace Prize and tell us what caused the universe, because obviously cosmologists don't, astrophysicists don't know, and they're trying to figure out what. So moving along, then we have other productions. Now this guy, I think, after the last Atheist Open Mic, and he wanted to participate, or she. Obviously, I cannot tell what it is. It's just a random name with an avatar. Anyhow, this person wanted to participate and respond to me either during or after, so I didn't see the message. And now here he or she is, right? Say sugar, have fun being part of the biggest retards club, and posts image of after 350 years, the Vatican says Galileo was right in moves. And this is supposedly from the New York Times. And he's obviously from a couple of decades ago, when I was, little, very little, and obviously was not aware of this, where he, Pope John Paul II I believe the Jubilee was coming up, I believe, and Pope John Paul II, St. John Paul II, pretty much removed the excommunication from Galilei. And obviously, this person is trying to claim that either I and of course other Christians don't know about the story of Galileo and whatnot. They use the story of Galileo to attack the church, claiming that the church is against science and whatnot. Obviously, this person, Interstellar Productions and others, they really do not understand the whole story behind Galileo Galilei. And I mentioned it in my book. You can read it if you purchase the book. Pretty much for Galileo, the whole reason for him was that why he was doing science is because the church hired him. The church hired him to do research, just like it hired many other scientists back in the day, centuries ago. The church was like NASA back in the days. It was like the main institution of science, sponsoring scientific research and whatnot, because the church wanted to know about the universe, about nature and all that, the glories of God. They wanted to know. The church wanted to know. It wasn't just all about theology and philosophy and catechism and so forth. The church wanted science, and the church at the time before that, science was more like a trade, like alchemy and so forth. It didn't have the stature of being an academic discipline. It was the Catholic Church that actually took science, the principle, the ideas of science, pieced it together, and formed this great academic branch, which we all love today. If it wasn't for the Catholic Church, we wouldn't have that. Roger Bacon gave us a scientific method that we use today. So, back to Galileo, as he was doing his research, he of course claimed to discover that the Earth moved, that it was in the center of the universe, or rather the center of the solar system, and that it actually revolved and the sun was not revolving around. The thing here is that many atheists or alleged atheists seem to not know or willfully ignore is that this idea existed already before Galileo. Copernicus, Nicholas, who was a Catholic priest, a Polish Catholic priest, he already presented the idea of heliocentrism, that the sun was the center of the solar system and the planets revolved around it, namely Earth. He already posited that idea. It wasn't Galileo that came out of nowhere and said, "Oh, I discovered this, the church is wrong." That's not what happened. What Galileo was, he wanted to present it scientifically, pretty much. But what got him in trouble, the church was fine. Cardinal Berlaymont, he was fine with his discovery. The church was fine with it. What happened was that Galileo was very arrogant. He was known for being very arrogant and whatnot, very stuck up. He liked to be right all the time, whatnot. And other professors in the university didn't like him either. They thought he was a show-off. They thought he knew it all, whatnot. So he started to blend the lines, so to speak. He started going into theology while doing his research. And what I mean by that is that he started making comments that like the Bible was wrong and the Bible had to be changed and whatnot. And that's when the church got upset. The people, the clergy and so forth got upset. They said, "Wait a minute, you're telling us that we have to change the word of God to fit your ideas? Okay, if you're right, then prove it. If the Bible's wrong, if the way the Bible describes these things is wrong, then prove it. Show us a proof." Well, he couldn't do it. And Aristotle had made all kinds of ideas and equations to explain it. And Galileo wasn't able to refute them, to show that Aristotle was wrong. And because of that, the church didn't take him seriously. He became like a joke. Because again, this is what they knew at the time. This was the science, the knowledge that they knew at the time. So that's why he was punished. He was taken to trial and whatnot, because he wasn't able to prove that what he was saying was actually scientifically true. He wasn't able to present it. And it wasn't his fault because he just didn't have the technology for it. Now we had the telescopes, more advanced telescopes, and we were able to show it. But he didn't have the technology to be able to prove to Cardinal Berlaymont and so forth of his ideas. So the church excommunicated him not because of his scientific work, but because he came across as a heretic, trying to say that the Bible was wrong and so forth. Just like Luther and other people came and said that the church teaches were wrong or not. You don't do that with the church unless you have strong evidence to that. And even then, you cannot contradict dogma, which is a revealed truth. Now, the whole idea of geocentrism was not taught by the Catholic Church, obviously. It was taught by the academic world at the time, which was run by the church. So this is why a lot of atheists get confused and think that it was the Catholic Church that was pushing the idea of geocentrism. No, this was already taught by universities at the time. This was the mainstream science at the time. It wasn't any part of the church's teaching on dogma. You will not find it in any of the church's teaching on dogma. The church never taught geocentrism as part of the dogma, the teachings of the faith. This was just a common scientific mainstream idea that the people held at the time in the university. And it was mostly his peers that ratted out Galileo to the Vatican, to Rome, and so forth, to the church officials. It wasn't like the church was on top of him like a hawk, looking at what he was doing. It was the academic world that actually told the church officials that Galileo was overstepping his boundaries, and he was saying things that were not proven, and that they should check by him pretty much. So he was eventually punished, and his punishment was living in a mansion of the bishop. And that was a big punishment. I would love to be punished that way, to be able to spend my life in a mansion with being with my own chef and possibly my own pool and everything. I mean, that's horrible suffering right there. That's just terrible. I mean, it's worse than the death penalty. To be able to live in a mansion with your own cook and nice furniture and a pool probably and whatnot. I mean, that's horrible. I wouldn't wish that punishment on anybody. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic, but that's the punishment they gave Galileo, was to live nicely in a mansion, pretty much. So this guy into cello productions, he obviously doesn't know what he's talking about. He needs to visit the library, or she needs to visit the library and do some research. Actually read the documents from the trial and see what was said and wasn't said. And you will see that it doesn't fit the narrative of the so-called atheists that are found online. It doesn't fit the narrative. See if I can find some other things here. Some what do you call it? Screen captures as some so-called atheist post up. And these screen captures are pretty much out of frustration because since last year I've been disabling comments and shares on these, because you could do that on Google Plus when you the open, so anybody can come and comment, or you could close it. When I first started with Google Plus, I left them open, obviously, because I didn't know you could shut. Then I started to receive all these crazy messages, insults, and whatnot, and I tried my best to try to get these people to discuss rationally and whatnot, and they just weren't able to do so. They would just use the comment box to post all kinds of and nobody has the time to read all that. I mean, why would I spend my time reading curse words and insults and lies and things that really don't make any sense and detract what I post? I mean, why would I waste my time doing that? So I said, you know what? Let me just shut it off. I just put the content there. They want to see it, they see it. If they don't, okay, that's fine. But I'm not going to waste my time reading their comments, because obviously they haven't provided anything fruitful for me to really look at. So I left it at that. So of course, some of them, in order to show their past, it takes screenshots of it. As you can see right here, with price sec S, posted a screenshot, obviously from his or her phone, and obviously has to go somewhere. He or she has an alarm. Anyhow, about my post, Atheism Dilemma 6, Random Intention. And then this guy over here, Luis Alberto Rodriguez Golf. And he obviously makes some things there. Posted his screenshot from, obviously he's a fan of AT&T. And he told me to go, he has an alarm clock there. And probably has a headset with Bluetooth. And he posted a screenshot of my contest that I made for atheists, a so-called atheists. Back in 2014 or so, I made up a contest, God does not exist contest, and I pretty much said, okay, any so-called atheist out there who says that God doesn't exist or is confident that God doesn't exist and can prove it, please do it in an academic fashion. Show your methodology, put it up, write up an abstract, an intro, the method, and the experiment itself. Show me the numbers, and so forth. Put everything together in a nice academic format, and show me the conclusion why this shows that God does not exist or God is not real. And to date, since 2014, not one atheist or alleged atheist online has even attempted to take this contest. Yeah, they're so quick to go on Twitter and Google Plus and Facebook and whatnot and say God is not real, God is fictional, God is a fairy tale, you believe in fairy tales, there's no such thing as a God. They're quick to say all of that. But when you ask them for proof to verify, when you ask them to prove their claims, they cannot do it. And it's funny. It really is funny. And in a sense, it's also sad because these people are obviously delusional. They really don't understand what's going on. They don't understand how research works. They don't understand how the burden of proof works. If you make a claim and say something does not exist, you have to why it doesn't exist. How do you know it doesn't exist? You cannot expect people to just believe you just because you said it. I mean, come on. You have to be realistic. You have to prove that what you're saying is actually true so that people could actually believe it. Otherwise, they'll just ignore you or not. So, obviously, comments with screen captures of what I post. And the reason why they do this is because they want to create a here. Lewis has like 54 comments on it. They created a forum so that basically used it to attack me. So I bet if I click this, you will see 50 of the comments all attacking me, insulting me and whatnot, calling me names and whatnot. And I mean, it's just childishness. Yet not one of them even dares to take the contest. I mean, the time that you spent to write 54 comments of nonsense, of insults and whatnot, you could have used that time to think of a way to prove that God does not exist. But no, that's why I'm skeptical of these guys. Like, I'm very skeptical. I don't believe they're atheists. They're not atheists because they obviously don't have the knowledge to defend atheism. They obviously do not understand religion itself. They have so many misconceptions. Obviously, atheists have misconceptions, but these people go way overboard. They really are ignorant on many of the things that the Bible says, that the church teaches, and even other denominations. And I cannot defend evangelicals and so forth because the majority of them subscribe to creationism. Obviously, I believe evolution happened, so I'm not going to defend evangelicals in that regard. But even on the idea of creationism and whatnot, a lot of these guys, these so-called online atheists, don't understand what creationism actually is. And we have this guy over here, Mark Hirsch. And he writes, "It's truly sad when a theist disables both comments and reshare." And again, I explained what the whole thing was about, why I do that, and do not seem to get it. And they're taking screenshots that I posted regarding a little girl that was healed after he kissed her forehead and the tumor disappeared and whatnot. And the other young girl over here, Gracie, who also had a disease, cancer, I believe, and was also cured after visiting Pope Francis. I think she used to make a wish foundation, and they granted her a trip to Rome to meet the Holy Father Pope Francis. And afterwards, the whole thing disappeared, everything disappeared, cleared up. So those are some of the things that these atheists, so-called atheists, love to post up here. Um, and actually, you can see right here that I'm telling this guy here, pretty fast beer. I'm actually responding to him saying that I don't have time to read 80 plus comments based on personal attacks, ad hominem, and irrelevant topics as well. Yes, among these 34 comments he had, messaged me why I don't respond to them or why I have the comments disabled and so forth. So I explained to him that the majority of the comments that I get are just personal attacks and insults and things that are irrelevant to the topic. And so I don't have time to respond to all that. I mean, if they do, I mean, God bless you. You have time to respond to stupidity, but I do not have time to respond to stupidity. Now, if they would have had a civil conversation online, posted intellectual things, supported their claims and whatnot, and if they claim that I'm wrong and actually show that I'm wrong by citing something or showing me a link to something academic that, that proves that I'm wrong, then I will take them more seriously. But since they do not do this, then I do not take them seriously at all. So, in the meantime, I'm gonna take to see if I find some more things to show you, and then we could continue from there a little bit more. okay right now, and I'm just going to think the screen sharing thing was not on, so I was talking about the different comments, mentions that I received from the theist versus atheist discussion group community. So since I don't think it showed on the screen, I'm going to do it again. So I'm just going to show. This is quickly Gary Cameron that he wrote about the poor line, so you can see what I was talking about. And I wrote about atheistic communism is the one that's the worst the religion. And here's the other comment from Gary Cameron, the universe doesn't need a God, where I spoke. Obviously, he seems to know the universe because no cosmologist has ever ruled out God, or no physicist has ever ruled out God. So, for him to make this comment that proved the universe does not need a God, then it means that that he knows what created. So he should tell us. I mean, Gary, you should tell us what created the universe, because if you have knowledge that shows that it wasn't God, and that means you know what created the universe, so tell us. And he's quoted from xiv.org and whatnot, about spontaneous creation of the universe from nothing. And actually, that's what the Bible says. So this article does not prove that God does not need God. This is actually saying what the Bible says, which is, and I'm actually gonna write that to here to make it clear. The article, article actually proves the Bible, the universe was laugh out loud. It does not say God did not do it. Pedro Tism. When I hopefully make him see his error of judgment or not. Because a lot of these guys, they I don't believe they're atheists. They just try to find things in order to try to sound smart or try to sound like an atheist. And their bias just gets in the way. They're so quick to get theists in a gotcha moment that they don't think what they're doing. And they don't realize their mistake like this. Spontaneous creation of the universe from nothing. I mean, hello, that's Genesis. The book of Genesis says pretty much that in different ways, that the universe came from nothing. That's ex nihilo. So, I mean, that's not saying that the universe was not, that the universe did not need a God. It's not saying that at all. So hopefully Gary catches it. So the production is the one that you wrote about, the book about. He doesn't understand or not. And these are the ones that I was talking about earlier, the comments where they take screen captures to show their passive aggressiveness. And obviously they feel weak, so in order to try to show some strength or whatnot, post these things thinking that I got the upper hand from Sacerdotus by putting a screen capture of something that he disabled. I mean, no, you're just actually helping promote it. So thank images will live forever. So the atheists will see it, see this, and then they'll get curious about it, and they'll say, "Well, why does this guy, why are they posting screen captures of this guy's links? Let's go see what's about." So then they go and they figure out, they check this out, and they go to my blog, and it brings me hits. And then they read my content, and a lot of times they actually message me, and we get a discussion going. So you guys are actually helping me, Tech and Lewis and all that. You're actually helping me, actually doing God's work. You do not even realize it by posting these screen captures and whatnot. So thank you guys. And here's the one about the contest that I spoke about over 15 minutes ago. The contest that I made, that these atheists love to say that God doesn't exist and whatnot, and they seem very convinced about it. So I asked them to prove it, and I created a contest where I asked them to send me a nice paper, academic paper with abstract, introduction, methodology, method, experiment itself, conclusion, etc., and show me. They got showing evidence in an academic paper. Just like when gravitational waves were found, a paper was presented. The scientists involved didn't just come and say, "Hey, I found gravitational waves. Believe me," and everybody believed them. No, that's not how it works. The scientists got a paper. They said, "Well, we discovered this. On September 14, 2015, we detected these things. And it's the gravitational wave that is predicted by the theory of relativity from Albert Einstein. He was correct. And here's the proof. We organized it in a paper, explained to you. And the peer review committee looked at it and they found it to be factual. And in fact, we were hit by 14th, 2015. So I ask atheists to do the same, but this time the topic is God. If you say God does not exist, then send me a nice paper. You know, it doesn't have to be 100 pages long, at least 12 or more pages, and show your methodology and how you get to the conclusion and make it a good one. Not one atheist do that. Yeah, they're so confident to say that God does not exist. I mean, you're not convincing me, you're not convincing anybody by saying that. You have to show me the pudding of your argument, of your claim. And if you cannot do that, then retract it. Say that you're not sure. I mean, I have more respect for a former atheist myself. I could tell you with all honesty is that I have more respect for agnostics than I do for atheists. Or rather, I should say I have more respect for agnosticism than I have for atheism. And the reason why is because at least the agnostics say, we're not really sure. They might be, they might not be, but we're not really sure. We're not going to commit to a solid, a definitive response because we're not really sure. We do not believe we have the knowledge for it. We're going to go either way. We're not going to say there is a God or there isn't because we just don't have enough to go by. So that to me is a more genuine, more honest than the atheist saying God doesn't exist, God is a myth, and then when you ask him or her to prove it, they cannot do it. You know, then that's dishonest because why would you say that if you can't prove it? Why would you say that you saw a crime when you weren't even there in the state? You were in Florida or something, and the crime took place in Boston. Why would you say that you saw the crime? You weren't even present. I mean, come on. You could see the dishonesty there when somebody tries to do that. And then I think this was the last one that I put from Mark Hirsch, pretty much about my disabling of comments and all that. And again, just to reiterate, the reason why I do this, majority of the comments were just nonsense. It was BS. Just personal insults and detracting comments, things that have nothing to do with the topic, and I don't have time to be reading all of that nonsense. If you want my attention, show me something intelligible. So show me something that's connected to whatever I posted and that's intelligible, and then we could go from there. What I'm going to do is post 50 to 70 to 100 comments on a thread saying nothing but insults and things that have nothing to do with it. I'm not going to waste my time on it. I take advantage of Google Plus feature of the posts because it saves everybody trouble pretty much. They don't have to read me going back and forth, me post these snarky remarks and whatnot, and they don't have to read the stupidity from the other person. So, and again, if I post a link from my blog post, you can go to my blog and comment on there. But remember, I screen the comments, so if it's not go up, so you're free to go and post on my site, and just make a good case for yourself. Don't come on the site and say you're an idiot or a retard or something like that and think that's going to be posted or I'm going to give attention to that. I'm not. It's just ridiculous. It tells me that you're the stupid one, that you're the retard, not able to defend your position. And all you could do is just here and there on comment boards and think that you defeated religion and God and everything just by making that ridiculous comment. You have not. You only made yourself look like a fool, made yourself look like a troll. So you lost my respect in that regard that I won't be able to take you seriously. I don't think we want to do that. And let me see if I got any messages. No, I do not have any messages. So let's see if I can go on Twitter. And Twitter's a lot of stuff here. Let me shut this off while it leaks. They have an interest to me regarding atheism or something. To God and inquire everyone. I see some back on so you can see. I wish Google would make these things a little bit simpler. To be bouncy from window to window, and then I think everybody's seeing it, but they're not seeing it because clicking share is not enough. I have to click present to everyone. That's the step that I keep forgetting. I'm gonna click present to everyone. Means it says yours. So hopefully what I'm seeing right now, which is my screen from my Sacerdotus Twitter account. And obviously this is the One Human Is. He's a great guy. I recommend you follow him as well. He's a very respectful person. And I believe that he's a genuine again. He's very respectful, very inquisitive. He asks questions. He's not in your face. And he's asking my opinion about the publication, which I spoke about earlier in the broadcast. Let me see if I find something else here. And excuse me if I switch to different act. For some reason, I have met many people throughout my life, especially in New York. Being in New York, I met all kinds of people growing up from all different races. And then when I was in Connecticut and when I was in Canada, I met and so I picked up all these different dialects and different accents, and sometimes I play with them, and sometimes it rubs on me, and I don't even realize it because because of the process of inhibition. Those of you who study psychology, is when you get used to something, you don't even notice it anymore. So you may see over there with that funny pronunciation of words because of all the different interactions I had, the diversity of people. So it makes us there. Which it's cool to meet up, exchange different cultures and whatnot, and just meet. I mean, most likely I'm not going to be able to travel the whole world and meet everybody, but At least I get to meet people from those different parts of the world, so I get to learn stuff about it, which I like. Let me look at tweets right here from Gabe Logan at Circuits Man. And this guy was messaging me the other day. He just came out and follows me on Twitter. No, he doesn't. I'm confusing it with this other British guy that was messaging. Well, he started messaging me and whatnot, and he said some of the messages he was sending, and I responded to him on Twitter. You can see the tweets there. But I'm gonna do it again here on Atheist Open Mic and address it. And now he claimed to be agnostic. Why not? And he spelled it wrong, and I was just teasing him right here. You can see this tweet. I wrote, "What is?" And I was just teasing him. I knew what he meant. I just wanted to, make a little silly joke about it. And he wrote, "Using God to glorify yourself to go association for $19.99 per copy, huh?" And he's referring to my book, Atheism, actually $19.99. And again, in the process, this book is an academic work. It has sites, it has references, and so forth. It's not just it's not like Harry Potter. I just wrote one book. Actually, some professors are actually using it to have discussions in their class. That's how big the book is, and I thank them for that, for giving my book such a prominence so early in its existence. And the book, obviously, a lot of work went into it. It took how many months? Like 4 or 5 months for me to really do it. And I could have done it in a shorter period, but since I have classes during the day, obviously take my time. So the free time I had to keep my blog going, posting, replying to people all over the internet, and doing these broadcasts, and also some of this radio. So juggling all these things, and the little time from that was left, I took to do research and write the book, and then try to figure out how to put it together. And I decided to use CreateSpace because it gives you more freedom. I could write anything I want, anyhow, any way I want. So I think that's a platform that really works for me. I don't want to be restricted. Many people ask me why I didn't take my book to a publisher, a regular publisher, like a Catholic Ignatius Press or whatnot, TAM Books or whatever, Catholic, or even a Protestant publisher, or just a generic general publisher. And the reason why is because I wanted to control my work. I think it's better that way. You're able to write things the way you want it. You have an audience in mind, and you think how that audience will receive your work, and you want them to receive them. I found the CreateSpace was the platform for that. And so obviously I was trying to figure out how to put the book together and whatnot, and eventually I learned how to use the Word program, how to add the footer. I forgot years ago. And then it came out to over 260, 280 pages, 284 pages it was. So then I was trying to figure out a price, what's the price, the best price for it. But then CreateSpace, I was gonna put the price at $11.99, so it could be $12, just to reflect 12 as the number of completion, the 12 disciples, the 12 tribes of Judah, and so forth. And so I was gonna put $11.99 as a price to reflect, But then when I go to do that, CreateSpace says the minimal price for this is 15 or 16 something. So they were pretty much forcing me to put a higher price on the book. So then I thought about it. I said, you know what? This is an academic book, academic work or not. So I think $18.99 is fine. Eventually I'm going to have sales. It's not like the price is going to be $18.99 forever. That's just in the beginning. Then later on, I'll offer sales, which I did back in in January for the feast of St. Thomas Aquinas, I offered a coupon for people to buy the book cheaper, and it took how much dollars off from the book. So eventually, I'll do that again. I'll offer a coupon so that people go and buy the book at a cheaper price. And because CreateSpace allows you to do that, you won't be able to get the coupon on Amazon and other places, but at least you could go directly to the and put the coupon that I give you, and it discounts from the total, whatever, and then you get the book cheaper. So that's the reason why it's not for glorifying money or whatever. And that's just I'm stuck with CreateSpace's policies, and also at the same time trying to balance what I want to do, which is raise money to keep quote unquote Sacerdotus alive, by paying the domain name and get stuff to do research and hopefully expand the Sacerdotus Radio, because which is probably the main project that I'm doing now. Thank God I got the domain name secure for now. So what I'm focusing now more is trying to expand the Sacerdotus Radio hours, and I'm using the platform called Blog Talk Radio, and they let you use their service for 30 minutes for free. But the problem is that it's short, and I tend to talk a lot, so it really doesn't work for me in that regard. And also, while they give you a phone number where you can give to people so they could call you, like a radio, who call in and ask questions, talk, maybe comment on them. If I'm talking the whole 30 minutes, what time do I have to take calls from people? And I would love to take calls from people. So be able to expand that, but in order to expand it to 2 hours, 3 hours, and so forth, you gotta pay. And it's like $39 a month, and so forth. And the other subscription, 3 hours, I think it's $99 a month. They give you 2 hours, 3 hours, and one of them I think gives you a 1-800 number. So if somebody wants to call and they don't have a plan, a phone plan that allows free calling, one could charge for making a call somewhere outside of your area, and that would be nice to have. But unfortunately, I do not have the money to expand Blog Talk Radio to those hours or to have that ability. Another thing is that with the free subscription, you have to make phone calls. Broadcast, I had to call Blog Talk Radio and go online and do the show from there. And if I do the show from a phone, it's gonna sound cell phone quality. It's gonna sound weird online. So what I did, I was able to get the Blue Yeti microphone, which is I'm using right now. You hear this right now. It's the Blue Yeti microphone. It's an excellent event to everybody, especially if you want to do voiceovers, recording music, or doing podcasts, or whatever. It's an excellent microphone. We'll set it up to hear me from the front, or put it omnidirectional, so that if I'm in a meeting or something, or I have a panel, it picks up everybody from every corner. Or if I'm just with another person talking, I can put it to people listen on behind the microphone, so that the person talking to me could be picked up and I could be picked. I mean, it's an amazing microphone. It has great quality. Whatnot. You could hook up earphones to it or whatnot. So I got this microphone because Blog Talk Radio recommended it and other people recommended it. But let me use the microphone with Blog Talk Radio. I had to get the expensive or the next subscription, which is $39 one of them, I think. And with that, I can not only do I get 2 hours to talk, but I could actually use the microphone directly to do the radio podcast instead of having to call on the phone. So the quality would be like you hear me now, nice and clear with the Blue Yeti. So hopefully I'm able to raise enough money. So that's where the whole idea of the books came. So instead of me going around asking people for money on GoFundMe and whatnot, I can sell these books. And you're getting something, and then I'm getting the funds to be able to save up so that I go expand the hours from blog to radio and so forth, and do other things. Eventually work my way up to live streaming, live. I do not have a webcam. I don't think they're allowed it here, but at least when I'm on vacation, I can use it. But at least do live streaming and do things like that. Maybe show you. I would like to show you something live now. Like if I have a book in my hand and I'm reading from it, I would like to point the camera to it so that you can see what I'm reading to you. Or if I happen to be at an event, like the Papal Mass in Madison Square Garden, I would love to live stream that to her. Wasn't able to because I don't have the equipment. Or procession or a mass or something that's going on, or a conference that may not be even religious. I could broadcast it to everybody when I'm, but that's the whole reason why I'm selling the books and whatnot, to give her some more money. And so Gabe doesn't seem to understand this, and he wrote this tweet: when you sell enough books to open up a mega church and start a tax shelter, call me. And again, he seems to think that I'm writing books and all this to become Joel Osteen, a millionaire. That's not my intention at all. I'm writing these books not only to educate, but to help me raise funds. So think of it as my version of Girl Scout cookies or chocolates from school, selling chocolates in order to raise money to do something. Because that's what I'm doing. Selling, doing what I do best. Sell books and write and sell the books and raise money for that. And go from there, raise money to do things that I want to do. Now that I've passed this here, just briefly talk about it. Actually, let me click on it because I forgot the guy's name. I know it's Littler, but just to remember the details. There was a study here from a PhD candidate. They blog on the WordPress format. Looks different on the blogger format. So this is the more simple one, so that people that are unable to load all the graphics could go to this one. This is a post regarding the study that shows that those people who go to church are less likely to commit crimes. And the study over here, I'll read through the study. Used survey data from 1,214 people ranging from 18 to 34 years old, and it included things, delinquencies such as littering, skipping school or work, the use of illegal drugs, transportation fare evasion, shoplifting, damage to property, and violence against other individuals. And from among those people that did these things, they found that Mark Littler right here found that people who participate in religious services were less likely to commit crimes. And this caught my attention because a lot of, like I wrote in the beginning, atheists often like to say that there are more Christians present than atheists, and then conclude that there is a correlation between religion and crime. And this, of course, is false. It's ridiculous. And the reason why it's ridiculous is because they don't understand the principle of science that correlation does not imply causation. So just because you see a connection between two things doesn't mean that there's actually a cause. One of the things does not mean that it could just be there for whatever reason. And it also shows I speak about here. The law of numbers in statistics, which is used in science, and specifically, which states that the larger a sample is, the more it reflects the mean of the whole population better. So in other words, if there are more criminals or prisoners in jail or prison that are Christian than atheists, it's because there are more Christians than atheists in general. So of course there's going to be more Christians in prison than atheists because there are more of them in the world or in the States, in the United States and so forth. So that's a given. And this is because there are more Christians in our society. So, I mean, if you're an atheist and you say there's more Christians in prison, atheists, therefore religion is bad, then I mean that's a fallacy. It's really poor reasoning on your part. So I think that's enough for today. I'm gonna stop the screen, and hopefully the next time for Atheist Open Mic, we'll get people on to have a discussion. You won't have to be bored listening to me, because I could go on forever talking on different things. I read a lot. I'm very knowledgeable on different things, and not an expert on everything, but I do know a lot about different things, especially the fields that I studied: science, philosophy, religion, and of course Catholicism, and music too, because I play piano and whatnot. But that's another story. And so instead of hearing me all day talking about that, for at least however long I was talking, I do not have a timer here, so I don't know how long I've been talking. Then you go hear me talk and other people talk at the same time, or other people talk while I'm quiet, and it'll be more, hopefully, more interesting. And hopefully, atheists who participate will learn something and rethink their atheism and whatnot. But you guys out there have to stop hiding behind the comment boxes and send me a message, email, and join me on live. You know, this is a service for you to give you a platform so that you can speak and present your ideas and whatnot, and have and critique. And if you feel you critique the other sides, then by all means do it in a civil and polite manner, of course. So, thank everyone for listening. God bless, Mary keep, and enjoy the week. Atheist.